Well, welcome to the discussion portion of our presentation. We're now going to have a discussion on communal responsiveness, and we're going to introduce our panelists. Joining us here is Chancellor Ceasar Maldonado, Dean of English and Communications, Dr. Amy Tan, Dean of Media Arts and Technology Center of Excellence, Dr. Jimmy Adams, Financial Aid Communications and Media Coordinator, Shar-day Campbell.
What's that mean?
And finally, our history faculty member, David White. My name is Todd Duplantis. I am the director of HCC TV. Thanks again for being with us today. We're going to start with a question for Dr. Maldonado. And this question, sir, is what does communal responsiveness mean to you?
Well, this is something we've been talking about for some time now. And it started when we defined the HCC way. And it goes to our definition of that. Sharing what are our core values. What are the behavioral competencies? What does accepting responsibility mean to all of us? Supporting our organizational goals and adapting to support change. All of these encompass the ultimate HCC experience, and as I shared earlier, although we focus on the student, it really is about the HCC experience for all of us. The responsiveness, the commitment to support the goals, and creating an employer of choice environment. So the experience that keeps you returning to HCC for that lifelong learning experience. So for me, it's a fairly straightforward process. It's a mindset of service.
Thank you. David, do you want to add in on this?
I think responsiveness is listening to the community, and when you listen to the community, you really listen to the community. When they come forward with a concern, sometimes they're saying one thing, but what they're really concerned with is actually something else, and you really have to get down into it to figure out what they're really asking, because that way you can give them what they really want.
Thank you. We're going to go on to Dr. Adams. You're with the next question, and it kind of dovetails off of this. How is HCC exemplifying this today?
Well, I think as an instructional leader, we're obligated to reach into the community or partner with our community to get our students involved in that process. So a few years ago, if you know, we had the Super Bowl here. So through our advisory committee and our connection in the community, we were able to get 12 of our students into the NFL behind the scenes, and where they were working in partnership with the production team. And those students in our film and audio recording areas got an opportunity to apply their skills and what they're learning in our classes in a real world situation. So partnering with our community is very important to our instructional areas.
In a situation like that, we don't get many Super Bowls coming to the city of Houston,
right.
But that was a very unique experience. And Dr. Maldonado, we have to take advantage of those experiences when they happen.
We're fortunate to live in Houston, and there are many venues that come forward and provide that experience for us, for our students. But you're absolutely right. We don't have to wait for the big event. Every day, we all have a personal experience with responsiveness, whether it's Amazon, whether it's USAA, whether it's Methodist Hospital, or Netflix, or Zappos, organizations that are known for their responsiveness. And we can learn from them. An exciting thing, though, about participating with events like the Super Bowl is our students get to experience that firsthand to help craft what their mindset's going to be moving into their careers.
Dr. Tan, this next question is for you. Where do we fall short in responding to our community today?
Well, our community is always careful to tell us when we're falling short, and we just have to make sure that we're able to listen with that open mind and open heart to hear exactly what we need to improve, part of that continuous improvement. I think one of the things that we hear frequently is students who don't know exactly who to ask, who's the person I need to contact. And if they go to one campus, they get an answer, and go to another person and get a different answer. And so that sort of lack of consistency can cause frustration. And I think that's one of the things that we need to continue to build, that culture of care, and make sure that first conversation is appropriate and caring, and we're helping those students.
You bring up a great point, because you don't have a chance to redo that first impression. And the folks working the front desk at the campuses are sometimes your most important right there, because the students or the community comes in to ask a question. They're the first in line. Dr. Maldonado?
That's right, and that's why we're focusing on improving that. We, over the last few weeks, have been meeting with the college presidents and with other leaders across the system to discuss how can we improve on that first contact to make sure that the message that's delivered is the right one. Because we want that student to come back, and only through working together and getting feedback will we be able to continue to improve in that area.
David, did you have a comment?
And it could be something as simple as you see someone wandering in the hall, ask them, can I help you?
Right.
It just, someone coming up, I've had so many times I've had that happen. You're the first person who's come up to ask me what I want. If everyone would do that, we would have a lot fewer concerns in that area.
Good point. Great point. Shar-day, this question is for you. You're a communication specialist, so you'd be suited for this one. What are the best means to engage with our community?
Well, I would sum it up under one premise, and that's understanding. First, understanding how they want to be communicated with, and taking that multi-platform approach, and really using the full power of social media and getting really rigorous about not having one-way conversations, getting away from just posting from what we're doing and really engaging, checking in. If we see a student checking in, if they're taking pictures, we can look at creating experiences that make them want to prove that, hey, I'm here at HCC today, and let's engage with them. When they're having a problem, we need to engage with them, engaging with them and meeting them where they are on social media, and understanding their unique challenges based on their hyperlocal barriers. So what's happening in Katy and how we service the students in Northline is going to be a little bit different, so we need to communicate the solutions according to that area. And also, when we're having these events, we've had great community engagement events. We've gotten the feedback. We've garnered the understanding of who needs to be at the table. People need to feel that we have an intimate enough understanding of their communities, that we have people at the table for advisory boards, committees that represent their interests.
Thank you. And Dr. Adams, I know you want to add in on this, but I'm going to ask you one question, because you and I are about the same age here. How do we keep up with social media and technology? Because it's changing so quickly. You want to answer that?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I think we need to ask our students, because they teach me every day, but I think we need to incorporate that into our teaching and learning. So, we do that in our class. So, the first thing, I'm teaching a class this semester, so, the first student pulls out a cell phone, I give them a project to do on the cell phone, and so then they don't pull it out anymore. So I think taking that approach and using that to our advantage goes into the power of the student and get them to use the tools that they use every day. So.
I don't know, Dean Adams. I think you had faculty taking notes, oh, so that's how you get them off their phones. Okay.
I know you're big into technology. You want to add in on this, Dr. Maldonado?
No. I'm a fan of technology, and I can get by, but at times, from a priority standpoint, I don't focus on it, and I probably spend more time on the individual one-on-one, face-to-face connection. I use the technology a lot for input, to find out what other people think, and to keep up with what's going on, not only in Houston, but throughout the state and the country. So I use technology that connects me to what's going on. I don't use it as much as I can to go the other way. So that's some of the learning that, and prioritizing that I need to focus on in the coming years.
Very well. David, next question is for you. How do we convey to the community that they've been heard?
Oh, you gave me a deceptively simple question, so I'm going to give you a very deceptively simple answer. Ready? You follow through. When we hear the same complaints over and over, that is a sign that, yeah, that's bad on us. But the worst part is when the community realizes that they are asking the same questions over and over again, that tells them that we're not listening. If we follow through, the community will understand we're listening. It's that simple.
Very well. Did you want to add in?
Todd, I want to add on to that. You know, as an instructional dean, we have 4 advisory committees that are part of our team, and they're made up of community experts, and they drive our curriculum. So we lean on them to adjust our curriculum to what the demands of those jobs are. So to make sure that we're putting that into our programs that we are providing to make sure the students have the skills to go work for them. So responding to them is us making those changes, and that they see that when we meet in these advisory committees, so that their time is being used valuably, and that we are listening and employing what they're telling us.
Shar-day, I think you want to add in?
Certainly, I just wanted to piggyback on his simple delivery of follow through. We can't out PR bad experiences for students. And so to play on that follow through, when we know maybe perhaps that a student has had a bad experience or a community member has had a bad experience, or we've handed off someone to where they've had a bad experience, simply following up with the follow through to make sure that we rectify the situation. We still have an opportunity. I think our students give us redemption. So we still have an opportunity to make up where we may fall short sometimes.
You bring up a good point, because I think I mentioned this earlier. The PR world is about managing reputation. And if you follow through, you're getting that good faith effort out there. And it certainly makes our jobs a lot easier, too.
Yes.
This final question is for everyone on the stage, and we're going to start with David. The question is, when and how should we communicate our successes back to the community?
I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I said that I have an alternative take, and I still do. In an ideal world, we should not have to communicate our successes, because if we're successful, word of mouth is our best advertisement. The community will tell other people, hey, HCC, cool. If I go out to the community, I'm wearing an HCC shirt. If we're doing things right, people will come up to us and say, hey, tell me more about this. We heard this and this and this. If we're doing it right, we advertise ourselves by that very fact. If we're not doing it right, I mean, word of mouth, you know how it is, good recommendation, tell 3 friends bad things, 10 other people know. If we're doing things right, it takes care of itself.
Very well. Shar-day, you want to comment?
So how do we communicate our success back to the community? One, we make the students the heroes of our narratives. I think the community wants to see them win. And when they're winning, that inherently breeds hope in that they can get their expectations met at the community college, and they can get what their definition of success means.
Question is, when and how should we communicate our successes back to the community? We're going around the horn here. And Dr.
I think we do it every day, and I think our graduation is a great example of that, because our students come from our community, and we highlight and celebrate them during graduation.
Absolutely. Dr. Tan.
I think taking advantage of public forums like this one, we recently were recognized for the advances that we've made in OER here at HCC. The Higher Education Coordinating Board invited our OER coordinator to present, and so making sure that the community hears about those kinds of awards and recognitions.
And who was that man anyway?
That would be Dr. Nathan Smith.
Woo!
I also think a couple of people have mentioned when you're out in the community and you're wearing your HCC shirt or your hat or your pin with pride, and when people come up and ask you or talk to you about HCC, that's a wonderful way to communicate our successes and our experiences and how much we want to hear from our community.
Dr. Maldonado, final word.
The great point on the HCC shirt. I was wearing one when I went through security at Hobby Airport a couple of days ago, and a TSA agent asked me about HCC, what I did there, and who he could contact to come to HCC.
Were you able to help him out?
Undercover boss.
We might even work out a scholarship. So I think in spite of our belief that everyone surely knows about our successes, we live in a very large city. Not everyone is connected to the right places in social media to be able to understand what HCC can do for them. So wearing that HCC cap, that T-shirt, that windbreaker, all the time when you go out, to be able to offer up to help people. When they see it, let them come forward and ask. Be open to be responsive, provide that communal responsiveness. That's how we share our story. That's how we grow success for students and for our institution.
Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us for this discussion. Thank you out there.